Welcome back to the Sweet Spot, which takes place in a magic, mysterious land called the Internet. And David, I wanted to ask you, as a citizen of, maybe even a prominent citizen of the Internet, do you think
I'm composed entirely of pixels. Nothing but.
And
I'm not really here.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
I'm on the web, man. On the internet, nobody knows you're fake.
Well, that's my question, because there do seem to be a lot of famous fake people all of a sudden on the internet. There's this football player, Manti of Notre Dame, who apparently had a whole...
He's been hugging a hologram.
Who tragically died. And who was...
never was alive.
Never was alive. He had this girlfriend. First was in a car accident, then came down with leukemia, died on her deathbed, said, Manti, go out and win that game. And then it turned out that there was that this woman did not exist at all. Sports Illustrated, ESPN, the New York Times had a story. Everybody was fooled by this.
Once a meme gets going, which is he was playing for these dead people, one of whom did not exist, it just rolled and rolled and rolled. And sports journalism, which has done a really good job in the past few years, took a little step back here, and they fell for the hoariest old trope, and it ended up being Deadspin, which is not really part of sports journalism proper, to drop in and call BS where they saw it, which reminds me, by the way, of Lance Armstrong, which that was a bit of a myth, some of it quite made up, some of it perpetrated by that guy. And mainstream sports bought into that over and over again, mostly because they're feeding an audience, that would be you and me,
right,
that loves stuff like that. Well, the guy who came back from cancer and won the Tour de France.
Yes, right. Seven times and passed all his drug tests.
Yes, of course.
And was not just a great athlete, but a saint. It turns out to be quite the opposite.
There's two impulses at work: the desire to perpetrate a hoax.
Yes.
And the desire to buy into a hoax.
And the second is almost more interesting. There is this impulse, even among professional skeptics, even among journalists, to listen to the story that this person is telling and believe it and buy into it and to sort of surrender your skepticism. Where do you think that comes from?
The weird thing is, my brother sent me a million little pieces, right? That James Fry's book of about addiction, and I got about 9 pages in. He happened to be writing about an area of the country, Minnesota, and a topic, addiction, that I know a lot about. And I just looked at it and I said, this is such baloney, and just threw it over my shoulder, not understanding for a moment the implications of somebody doing. It's almost as if we expect to be got over on, and we're just not even surprised when it happens. I didn't really even understand that it was that big of a deal at the time.
You subsequently came to think that it was enough of a big
when it blew up huge, and the story had already bypassed.
You wrote your own book that was in some ways a sort of an antidote to that, where you went into your own life and reported it.
The gesture of my book was, I'm going to go back, I'm going to interview the people on videotape, so that you know everything is real. And you know what? Not even that book was real. Let's face it, when one human is presenting to another human, they always want to come off as more sparkly than they really are.
So do you think it's just sort of a spectrum, that it's just a matter of degree? There does seem to be a bit of a line between the kind of creative license or storytelling license that you're talking about and just the wholesale confection of identities.
I try on my Facebook or on my Twitter to post photos that actually resemble who I am and what I am, but the distance between who people pretend to be online, who they actually are. Here's the challenge.
Yes.
We actually had a lot of good comments before on our local TV. And we want people to come into comments. We want your authentic, real thoughts from your authentic, real self in comments for the Sweet Spot. No hoaxing.
Yes, no hoaxing, and please no tragic deaths on Art's Beat.
Leave your fake girlfriend at home.